Let's talk about something that shifted right under our noses. It's the story of how simple computer memory, that thing that used to be a pretty boring commodity, has quietly become the most critical and, yeah, the most expensive component in the age of AI.
You've probably felt this yourself. You go to build a new server, maybe upgrade your machine, and then you see the price for RAM, and it's a shock. This one part, which for years was just predictable and cheap, suddenly costs a fortune. Well, there's a really big reason for that.
And the reason is this. Memory is now the governor on artificial intelligence. Not the processor that gets all the cool headlines, not some new fancy algorithm. Nope. It's the humble stick of RAM. It is the hard limit on what we can actually build and deploy.
This has completely changed the power dynamic. Think of it like a supercar. The GPU, all that compute power, that's the engine. It's flashy, it gets all the attention. But memory? That's the fuel line. And it doesn't matter if you have a 1,000 horsepower engine, if your fuel line is the size of a drinking straw, the whole system just chokes. That's exactly where we are right now. So let's dig into what's really going on here. Because AI has this hidden, massive appetite for memory. But it's probably not the kind of memory you're picturing.
For the longest time, all the talk was about what we can call glamour memory. That's the super fast, high bandwidth stuff, HBM, that's stacked right on the processor itself. But the real shift, the big one, happened when AI went from just being a cool demo to a real product. The demand spilled over, creating this huge need for workhorse memory, just regular old server RAM.
And this workhorse memory has a brand new, super critical job. It's basically become the giant pantry that keeps the entire AI kitchen running. It's where you store all the ingredients you need to turn a cool model into a reliable service that people can actually use.
I mean, just look at its to-do list. It's doing all the unglamorous but absolutely essential background tasks. It holds the model weights, it caches all the user inputs, it stages the data, it manages all the boring but critical stuff like logging and moderation. It keeps the whole thing from falling over. The glamour memory might be the star chef, but this workhorse memory is what keeps the restaurant from shutting down.
Okay, so this incredible new appetite for workhorse memory has kicked off a really unique market dynamic. It's a kind of self-reinforcing cycle. You can think of it as a price flywheel.
Now, the root of the problem is that you can't just flip a switch and make more RAM. Building these fabrication plants is insanely complex and slow. We're talking about timelines that are measured in quarters, not weeks. So when demand suddenly explodes, supply just can't keep up.
And that's what gets the flywheel spinning. It starts with that explosion in AI demand. Supply, as we know, can't react. So the smart buyers see a shortage coming, and they start reserving their memory for the future to avoid getting stuck. Well, that rush of orders makes prices jump right now, which then causes even more buyers to panic and rush in to secure their supply. And the whole cycle just repeats and gets faster and faster.
So if you're looking at this from the outside, it seems like total mania, a feeding frenzy. But if you're inside one of those companies, it is the most rational decision you can make. You've just spent millions on these AI accelerators, and the absolute worst thing that can happen is having them sit there doing nothing because you couldn't get enough RAM. Paying a premium for memory is way cheaper than having an idle data center.
This brings us to a really important point. Is this just a temporary bubble that's going to pop, or are we looking at a permanent reset in how much memory is worth? The key difference here, unlike so many bubbles in the past, is that the value isn't theoretical. AI isn't some promise about the future. It's here, right now, delivering real value. It's already woven into our everyday workflows, inside our companies, and in the products we use. This creates a really stable, really sticky demand that just wasn't there before.
And what that means is that the entire price floor for memory has been jacked up for good. Yeah, the prices might cool off from the crazy peaks we're seeing as supply eventually starts to catch up a little. But they are never going back to 2019 levels. A new, much higher baseline has been set.
All of this leads to a pretty profound shift in how we have to think about memory. It's not just a simple commodity anymore. It's become something way more important.
Memory is now what you'd call a strategic resource. And what that means is it's a component where its availability and its cost directly determines a company's ability to grow, its ability to innovate. How much memory you can get your hands on is now tied directly to your ambition. Just think about all the features that make modern AI feel like magic. Being able to understand these massive documents, giving you personalized responses, retrieving exactly the right information with incredible depth, and doing it all in a split second.
Every single one of those things, every single one, traces right back to the amount of memory you have available. Your ability to innovate is now literally a function of your memory budget. It's that simple.
So the real takeaway here is this. In an AI-first world, RAM is not just another line item on a spreadsheet. It is the fundamental constraint. It's the thing that shapes what we build, how fast it can be, and what it's going to cost. Understanding this shift is essential for anyone building the future.